Counsel John Durham's efforts to prove wrongdoing in the investigation of the alleged Russia-Trump collusion brought forth another major revelation today. Longtime Democratic operative Charles Dolan testified that he lied to a Russian analyst, Igor Danchenko, back in 2016 when Dolan said that he had inside information regarding the resignation of Paul Manafort from the Trump campaign. And that information was later used in the Steele dossier. And Danchenko has been charged by Special Counsel John Durham with 5 counts of lying to the FBI, all of which Danchenko has pleaded not guilty. Well, let's bring in Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, to help us further break this down. Tom, good to see you. All right, a lot of different layers here that we're finding out from this case. Help us understand, with this admission that Charles Dolan lied to Igor Danchenko, how does that change things for the case? What does that mean for Danchenko?
It further highlights that the sourcing for the dossier was shady. Danchenko didn't describe his sources as a Democratic operative. He was suggesting all of his sources were intelligence sources. And in fact, he was just using gossip, which was admittedly false, at least the origin of it, to embellish this dossier for Steele and for the Clinton campaign. And Danchenko, we have to remember, wasn't an American. He was a Russian, it looks like, intelligence operative. At least that's the way the U.S. government has been treating him. And so not only was the Steele dossier a lie, but it was a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie. And it was just a vehicle for laundering smears against President Trump, or then candidate Trump, for political reasons.
So, Tom, it's interesting. The Wall Street Journal came out with an opinion piece. They didn't really pull any punches with their view of the FBI. And they wrote, as part of an opinion piece, they literally wrote, quote, "It's a disgraceful episode in FBI history that rivals the worst of the J. Edgar Hoover era. Win or lose in court, the special counsel is doing a public service." So the thing that's interesting is I kind of wonder, given the revelation of the last couple days, should we raise our expectations a bit that there could be more that would emerge from this trial than just exposing the FBI?
Well, Judicial Watch could write an IG report or a report on what went on. And, that's not what we expected Durham to do. We expected prosecutions. Here we had the Justice Department and the FBI knowingly working with a foreign spy, Christopher Steele, offering him money for dirt on Trump and General Flynn and the Trump campaign generally. They knew his material wasn't checking out, yet James Comey, after a meeting with President Obama and Biden, went and tried to entrap then President-elect Trump with a discussion about this fake dossier. And none of those folks, as far as I can tell, have been hauled in before a grand jury and were going to be subject to prosecution. So Durham is performing a public educational service, but I think the American people expected more. It's been 3 years. We've had 3 prosecutions, one of which was handed to him on a silver platter by the DOJ IG. The second one ended in an acquittal, and I don't know how this one's going to end. In the end, it looks like Danchenko was making stuff up for the FBI, and I don't know if the jury's going to be persuaded that the FBI wasn't just looking the other way because they had, not because they thought he was lying, but because they didn't care because they were out to get to Trump. I mean, that's the challenge Durham has.
I do want to shift gears with you because last week we found out that Hunter Biden, that there was enough evidence to finally formally charge him with a crime. But it seems like we haven't heard anything since then, which seems to be a pattern with Hunter Biden. Stuff comes out and then it kind of gets buried for a while. We hear nothing. Republicans have been pretty clear that this will be one topic that they want to investigate further, get to the bottom of, see if there's any criminality for the president, if he has been compromised at all. Do you think that we will hear more? I mean, what does this mean for Hunter Biden? I guess, why aren't we hearing more? And is Judicial Watch involved in any way?
Well, we sued for records about what Hunter Biden was up to, not only with the Secret Service, but the State Department, what they knew and when about his racketeering operation, I would call it, an international racketeering operation that evidently involved then Vice President Biden and then, Biden after he left office. And the challenge here is that the Justice Department has been sitting on this Hunter Biden investigation for months. You know, we heard, and you got to remember, didn't we just do this story 3 months ago? Same language. Oh, they're thinking about charging him. Look, the Justice Department is squelching the investigation of Hunter Biden because they know it necessarily implicates President Biden. And they've ignored the rules Garland has requiring the appointment of a special counsel. And certainly he's not going to be indicted before the election. And if the Republicans want something done in terms of a serious investigation, it's going to have to be through an impeachment inquiry, because this Justice Department is part of the protection racket for Biden, not the Justice Department as traditionally understood.
Right. Tom Fenton, as always, thank you very much. Appreciate your insight.
You're welcome. Thank you.